right, so here I'm gonna demo just how to put the transitional leash on before we get started. So this is our model Daisy. So we start off, we're gonna put the slip lead over the dog's head. So that's just a big open loop. And to be utilized as a slip lead, it looks just like that, where you tab down, you have the safety that hooks to the collar, and now you are set up in the slip lead configuration. So now what we're gonna do is switch over to the transitional. So you're gonna pull the tab back, pull the loop out through the S-hook. So you can see it just pulls out right through there, and then it's gonna slip right over Daisy's face here, and you're gonna tab back down at the top there. And the safety is still attached. And you want the tab to be towards the middle of the ears. If you need to make any adjustments, you can move it one going one way, one going the other, so in opposite. So you want it to be out behind the back of the ear, and the S-hook and the safety right towards the bottom. So there you go. Beck from K9 Lifeline in Draper, Utah, and today I am going to walk you guys through a tutorial of how to condition a dog to the K9 Lifeline Transitional Leash. And I am joined by this cute little girl here, Daisy, and also my head trainer, Petra, who will be handling Daisy today. I get asked this question quite a bit, so I figured it was about time that we help people how to understand how to condition this particular tool, which we make here and we just sell all over the world. So the transitional leash, when dogs are confronted with new situations or tools, so it doesn't necessarily matter the tool, they're gonna have one of four responses: fight, flight, avoid, or accept. Usually when we put something new on them, they go through in the initial response, especially to a head halter, the resistance is usually through fight. So they want to paw at it, they may want to roll over, they may want to rub their face on the ground. So when we're working through this, we're simply just using the leash pressure to help to deter that behavior, so that the dog can understand that this is just something that's going to become part of what we're doing. So we have these 5 steps to a K9 Lifeline, and what I'm going to focus on today is step 1 and step 2. Step 1 is teach the tool. Basically just helping the dog to understand what it feels like to have that tool on them, not necessarily moving or walking, but just getting used to that tool holding still. If you can't get a dog to sit next to you on a loose leash, you're probably going to struggle getting them to move forward with you on one. So that's why we start with this first step. So what I'm going to have Petra do is just go ahead and put the tool onto Daisy. And Daisy has been conditioned to this, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what some of this might look like. So just pulling that slip lead open, using the little S-hook and pulling another loop out through there, and then tabbing that down. And you want that to be positioned just in between the ears here. And so what I would do is, here Daisy's already laying down. This probably won't be the situation with your dog. I'm just gonna have Petra go ahead and take a step forward here, and we're gonna get Daisy into a sitting position. So what you wanna do in this step 1 is just have the dog hanging out next to you calmly. If you start to see any of that fight response, all you're gonna do is gently pull pressure up onto the lead until the dog moves their butt back and down into this sitting position. I'm not necessarily asking for a sit, because most dogs actually know how to sit, but what we're looking for is actually a change of mind that goes along with the change of position. So I actually want her to be a lot calmer while they're doing this, and you can see Daisy is the perfect model of the behavior that we're asking for. So before I ever move forward, this is what I do with the dog. And this is the time that you're gonna see a lot of kind of those fight responses. So don't move until you can get them sitting, maybe not exactly as calm as Daisy might be, but just sitting calmly next to you on a loose leash. Our next step, I'm gonna address in a minute, but that is our step 1, teach the tool. right, so here we are with Daisy, and what I wanted to focus on now is what people are really interested in, which is what we call, out of our 5 steps, step 2, which is moving forward together. And that's the part of the walk. So when people usually use this tool, a lot of times they move fast and quick, and they just don't really take time to even condition the tool in that step 1. So we really take a lot of time in step 1 to be able to get the dog comfortable with understanding what the tool actually means by having it on. And here, I don't mind if Daisy lays down, as long as she can just sit calmly next to us on a loose leash. Imagine if you're at your kid's soccer game, how convenient would this be? So really taking time in that step 1 to create that pressure-free zone next to you is going to be imperative as we move forward. So here, when Petra goes to start moving forward, if the dog goes to move forward or lunge forward or anything like that, all you do, boom, go right back to step 1. We want the dog to understand that it doesn't get to move forward until it's calm and ready to move forward on a loose leash. You do not want to condition your dog to pull forward every time you walk forward. And Daisy's pretty much a rock star at this, so you're going to get to see what it kind of looks like as a finished product. But go ahead, Petra, take Daisy for a little bit of a walk here. So a nice loose leash moving forward. Okay. And this is exactly what it should look like, you know, on a nice loose leash. When we go to stop, we apply pressure up, gentle pressure up, and move that dog into that position. And all of this comes through from that first step, from step 1. So make sure, don't rush. There's a reason why it's step 1 and step 2 to be able to get to this, is because you want to take that time to really condition that first step of the dog understanding the loose leash. So go ahead and walk forward, Petra. So here, moving forward. If at any point the dog is moving forward, to the side, to the back, your best option is always just gonna go back to that reset of step 1, even if it's just taking 1 or 2 steps forward before the dog kind of starts getting all wiggly or excited. So go ahead and take just 1 or 2 steps forward here, Petra, and stopping, gentle pressure up, and then releasing. So that's basically it. It's a very, very simple process. If you guys want a more detailed version of basically all of our 5 steps, you can take a look at another video, a presentation that I did from the IACP conference just a couple years ago on YouTube, called Heather Beck, It's the Fool, Not the Tool. And it does walk through the 5 steps on not just a head halter, but also maybe a prong collar or a flat collar or a martingale. Our training method and process actually applies to most. But in that presentation, I do discuss definitely more in detail why we prefer head halters in general, but we do use all tools. So it's just a simple process of just getting the dog used to that pressure on and pressure off. And of course, if you have questions or comments or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, just under at K9 Lifeline. You could also join us on our training page, our online training course, K9 Lifeline Online, at K9 Lifeline Live. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, and look forward to hearing from you.